What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kevin Hoop Show. We're talking Israel Adesanya and Alex Pereira. Now, they're not fighting again for the 5th or the 100th time, but I really want to talk about what's going to be happening next with these two fighters, with Israel Adesanya coming off of a win and Alex Pereira having only like 4 fights in the UFC, winning the UFC belt, losing the UFC middleweight belt, and honestly, just up in the air of where Alex Pereira is going to be going next. There's rumors that he might be going up to 205. I don't even think it's rumors anymore. I think he has come out and said that he's going to be moving up to 205 pounds, aka light heavyweight. Either way, I'm happy to see it. I know it was already talked about. The dude was having a massive weight cut, and a lot of people were saying that that might have been the reason that he got knocked out like that, because Israel Adesanya is not someone to be the most powerful puncher, and maybe if he had a really, big weight cut before that fight, maybe that had something to do with him going down so fast. That doesn't take away, though, the fact that Israel Adesanya read Alex Pereira like a fucking book. That motherfucker knew exactly what he was doing when he fucking turtled up like this, standing up against the cage, and came back with a right hand, another right hand, just made it look fucking textbook, ladies and gentlemen. Honestly, whether Israel Adesanya stays at 185 for his next fight or whether he goes up to 205, who knows? But I do think that Israel Adesanya is going to be looking really good at 185, especially if there's no Alex Pereira to face or have a rematch with. He's the 185-pound champ. Eventually, we're going to see him at 185 again, unless he pulls like a Conor McGregor or something and just wins all the belts and leaves.
I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants.
I don't think Israel Adesanya is the type of guy to do that. Obviously he's a staple in the middleweight division right now, and I think kind of in history, I think he will be known as possibly a middleweight GOAT, if not the middleweight GOAT, the fucking guy at middleweight. I do think that there are some, contenders that are there, but I don't think that they're the most competitive. I think he already has fought a lot of the top guys in this division, and I don't think there's, much more people, much newer guys, I should say, that are really on the playing field. I know Dricus du Plessis is talking a lot of smack. I talked about that a little bit in the last Israel Adesanya video. I just don't think Dricus du Plessis is there quite yet. Now, there was some, entertainment that Kevin Gastelum was throwing around on Twitter saying, hey, Dricus du Plessis, you fight me, and if you win, you get that title shot, so fucking sign it and stop being a bitch. Dricus du Plessis comes out and is like, well, I'm gonna be a bitch, and, you backed out of the last fight. Whatever the fuck happened, whether it was an injury, not an injury, Dricus du Plessis does not want the smoke from Kelvin Gastelum. And I do think that that is a little bit to say that maybe he doesn't think he's there. Maybe he thinks that possibility of losing against Kelvin Gastelum is there. And Israel Adesanya, he's fought every single person that they have given him. And I think that that's what Dricus du Plessis is missing. I don't think that he's going to be getting that title shot just because of that, but I do think that that is a factor / reason of why he might not get it, or possibly why the UFC might not favor him as, a company type of guy. If Kelvin Gastelum is getting a contract with Dricus du Plessis' name and he signed it and he's just waiting on Dricus du Plessis, then what the fuck? Why isn't this shit happening? You basically have that path to the title right in front of you and you're not taking it. You're trying to take an even shorter path. You don't get that straight and narrow path all the time in the UFC. Dricus du Plessis has the straightest path and it's right there. Everybody can see it. You fight Kelvin Gastelum, you win against him, you get the title shot. He's not taking that now, so who knows what the fuck's gonna happen at middleweight. I really think that Dricus du Plessis is kind of like the only guy that Israel Adesanya hasn't fought, and that is a #1 contender, quote unquote. I think he's in like the top 10, the top 5, and he's been looking good. He's been on the rise. So moving on though to over to the other side of Alex Pereira, the loser from UFC 287, and hats off to Alex Pereira. The dude came in here and won like 3 or 4 fights in the UFC, and then got the title shot and won in fucking an amazing fashion. I don't think anybody saw that coming in the 5th round. And whether you had Alex Pereira winning in that fight or you had him losing, Either way, it's just exciting to watch. Not only is it the first 4 or 5 fights in the UFC, this is the 3rd or 4th time that they're now facing each other in a ring in a combat sport. Just looking at Alex Pereira and the stuff that he has done, you've got to tip it. You've got to give your hat off to Alex Pereira for just being a fucking mercenary, for being the guy that when you need him to show up, he fucking shows up. Alex Pereira at 205. What are our thoughts? I think that there's a lot of possibilities for him at 205. I've talked about this a lot. I've made a lot of videos on it. This 205-pound division is fucking crazy right now. We've got Jamal Hill as champ, and that's hats off to Jamal Hill. He deserves that. We've got Yuri Prochazka, who was out with the shoulder injury, who was supposed to fight in December, but ended up obviously having to back out of the fight with the shoulder injury. We've had Glover Teixeira recently as a champ. There's been 3 champions within 1 year, and usually you don't see that all that much. And actually looking at the rankings now, Glover Teixeira isn't even ranked in the top 5, which I'm kind of questioning why is that like that now. There's also a new guy, Alexander Rykic. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. I don't even know if it's Alexander or Alexander. I'm not too sure. Either way, Anthony Lionheart-Smith. I don't think Dominic Reyes is quite in this division anymore, or at least in the top 5 to top 10. But either way, there's some, killers in this division still. And I think that Alex Pereira can possibly even make a title run. We've seen John Jones make the last really long title defense in this division, and we haven't really seen anything like that since. We've kind of just seen this belt get passed around and passed around and passed around. The only person that I think won it and defended it was, I wanted to say Glover Teixeira, but I don't think that that's right. I genuinely can't even fucking tell you. I genuinely don't even know, since John Jones, the last person that has won this belt and defended it. I'm genuinely thinking of that right now, and I can't think of a name. Maybe it's just me and not remembering the timeline correctly, but I genuinely feel like there hasn't been someone who has defended this 205 belt. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Jan Blachowicz. Scratch that out of what I just said. I completely forgot about Jan Blachowicz. Absolutely phenomenal performance from him. We've seen him recently in the 205-pound division have some success, have some failure. Either way, he's still top 5 right now, and I think that fight might get some wheels spinning when it comes to interest and whatnot. Maybe we see Jamal Hill versus Yuri Prochazka, and then Jan Blachowicz versus Alex Pereira, something along the lines of that. I think it's kind of interesting to see where Alex Pereira is going to land in his first fight at 205. Is it going to be someone in the top 5? Is it going to be someone in the top 10? Someone in the top 3? Because if it's someone in the top 3, you've got a very limited kind of picking. You've got Jan Blachowicz, you've got Magomed Ankalaev, Jamal Hill, and that's basically it. And Jamal Hill's the fucking champ. So I think it's going to be interesting to see where Alex Pereira lands. If I were to put some money on it, probably that Jan Blachowicz fight, but maybe even Yuri Prochazka if something happens with Jamal Hill and somebody else. I don't know, but the possibilities are almost endless for Alex Pereira. Now, one thing I want to talk about, and this is kind of conspiracy theory-ish, or if the story was written perfectly, this is how it would be written. So Alex Pereira just lost the belt to Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is now the middleweight champion. Maybe we see Israel Adesanya fight again at middleweight. Alex Pereira fights at 205, and eventually Alex Pereira gets the 205 belt. And if he becomes the light heavyweight champion, and Israel Adesanya is over here as the middleweight champion, you guys see where I'm kind of going with this? We've seen Izzy go to 205 before. He didn't look the best, but, he did look somewhat okay. I would say okay is even a stretch. We haven't really seen Alex Pereira at 205 yet, so that's still a big question, but maybe we see Israel Adesanya move up to 205 and fight for the belt against Alex Pereira if he gets the belt. And that's a big, big, big what if. But I just want to see your guys' thoughts on it. Is it something that you guys would be excited to watch? Something that you guys think would happen? Obviously, it's a super big what if. I wouldn't put $1 on that happening, to be honest, just because it's so that would be crazy if something like that happened. But, if it does happen, you heard it here first. Either way, guys, that's going to be it for today. I do know I have been making some changes on the channel. I'm kind of testing working some things out. We might be moving to a Wednesday and Friday upload schedule. Not too sure yet. Let me know what you guys think about what you guys want to see from the channel when it comes to content, when you want to see it. Let me know in the comments below. If you guys are new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. What the fuck? Have a great fucking day, all right? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.